What's up everybody, Sidra here with another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnio video. And today I'm going to be doing something new I'm going to try. It's a how-to video for, various units in the Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnio universe that I pull on and that I really enjoy playing. So today I'm going to go with Noel. I think a lot of people are skipping him, and they're not necessarily skipping him because they think that he's weak, but with chaos coming up, people are trying to save their gems, and I get it. I plan mine out, so you can see I have 122k here, so I can still get Charlotta, Ultimisia. I'll have 150k and some left over, so I planned on pitying him. I'm a big fan of him, both his character from the 13 series as well as his kit in this game. So I'm going to talk about him a little bit, and then I'm going to put together a party around him. Then I'll go ahead and do, I've already beaten it, but I'm going to do the 120 battle here in the Chapter 2-5 hard mode. That's the Kefka fight with a couple mannequins. So first let's talk about what does Noel bring to the table, right? And I am going to use this spreadsheet. This is where I build my parties from. I tend to get a lot of information. A guy named CobraCai makes this and does a great job keeping it updated. So I'll go ahead and link it in the video here. So what is Noel? Noel is a really hard-hitting melee physical damage dealer. For the most part, he's non-elemental, but his his Tempest Strike, his S1. Tempest Strike does have a ice and wind component to it. And his big thing is he hits really hard against broken targets. So if you look here right off the bat, Tempest Strike plus, Gale Fang plus, Scourge plus. The difference in those pluses is the plus versions are attacking a broken target. Meteor Javelin plus hits harder and has much more. It has 50% splash versus 20% splash. It's a big difference. So in general, if Noel is up, you either want to hit a broken target or you want to break somebody with not one of those abilities. And he has two tools really to do that. So the first tool that he has is Fear Siphon. So this is activated after he gets his initial buff up. Gale Fang is always the first ability. It starts getting his Last Hunter buff up. So Fear Siphon is a 2-hit attack with 180 potency, so it's pretty potent for a brave attack. And whenever it breaks, his next turn, the ability that's used is not consumed. So it's a free ability after Fear Siphon. You'll know because he's got a white glow around him. I'll try and show it to you during the battle. So Fear Siphon's one option. The other option is his C65 Shaving Slash here. So unfortunately, I'm short a couple crystals, so mine's 69 instead of 70. That being said, I'll still be able to use it. And this is great, especially if you're sitting on an EX, right? Because you don't want to use a Fear Siphon and break an enemy for a free ability use, and then on the next turn, use your EX, right? You wasted the free ability, but you don't want to use the EX on a non-broken target. So if you don't have an option, Shaving Slash is a really nice option there to break and go right into your Meteor Javelin plus. The other thing, my initial thought when I first thought about Noel was, well, that sounds great. You gotta, get a free ability, but you gotta use a non-HP damage brave attack to do it. So if you're gonna use 2 attacks and only get 1 damage out of them, is that really damage efficient? So my initial thought was, I'm not so sure about that. But his kit is actually built really well around it, and here's why. His hardest hitting ability, so Tempest Strike has a knockback to it, the Tempest Strike plus. It doesn't work like Vayne, so if the target is not broken, you can't get a double break like you can on Vayne. But on a broken target, you're going to get a knockback. Really useful. But his really heavy hitter is the EX and Gale Fang. So if you notice here, the Gale Fang Plus, it has 180% overflow. And it's only 4 hits. So even if you're maxing out at 9,999, you're only going to get 40k out of those hits. So you need battery or you need pre-existing Brave to be able to hit, that 180% on Gale Fang. So really what happens is if you go from Fear Siphon into Gale Fang, that Fear Siphon Brave is not wasted. That actually becomes damage on Gale Fang. So it actually works out pretty well. His kit works really well within itself. So building a party around him, you really want to focus as an attack. He hits hard, but you want to get him to hit as hard as possible. Obviously, he has no heals. You want to keep him safe. From a buff perspective, he has 2 buffs. He gets his Last Hunter. That's from Galefang initially. Once you have it up, you can use Tempe Strike to bump the level of it. And then he also, from his EX, gets Will to Seize the Future, which buffs him and the party, so he gets 20% party attack and max brave. He also brings naturally some speed and more max brave to the party here, so he is not a completely selfish damage dealer. You know, he's going to help out your other party members, makes him really nice. You know, sort of in the vein. Vayne does that, Zach does that. But so you've got free slots for the generic HP or the generic attack and generic max brave buffs. All right, so we're going to start to build a party around him. So we go here to the party buff and aura tab. And right off the bat, Sarah, who is one of my favorite characters, and come on, I mean, we're playing Noel, so if they fit together, that's awesome. Now, my Sarah only has, I've only got 2 of the aura on her, so she's actually 90 and 90, but notice here, so we will fully be able to take advantage of these generic buffs, the attack and the max brave, because he doesn't have them of his own. Obviously, everybody can aura up. He has overflows on all of his abilities. Even his HP plus has 150% overflow. She does battery. So right off the bat, I am going to go ahead and sub Sarah into the party here. And by the way, look, he's built almost for early chaos. I mean, this is my team sorted by attack, and he's 240 over the next best guy, which is a pretty sizable difference from, you know, from one unit to the next. Sarah's up here too, so we're going to get Sarah in the party. Alright, so now we got Noel and Sarah. We got his buff slots mainly covered. There are 2 more if we find something useful, but we don't have any healing. There's no protection. So you could do a couple of things here. You could go, you know, Zach would fit great in here. He's going to further buff Noel with his auras. He's going to keep the attention off Noel. Also takes advantage of Sarah's attack buff. So that's a good one. The one thing you got to do there is Zach heals himself, but he doesn't heal anybody else. So if you're going to take any type of AoE HP damage in the fight, you may run some risk there of not doing it. You could go with a great person for this party, Warrior of Light. So where's my Warrior of Light? I don't have his EX though, so he doesn't bring healing. He's only 1 LB on his 35. I'm waiting until he was my plan for the EX shop here, so I'll have him in, I think, 7 days, but he would fit, I mean, granted, what you know, doesn't he fit into, but he would fit great into this. But I think I'm going to go with Lena. Kefka's in this battle, so, you know, I certainly wouldn't mind some debuffs, or some debuff immunity. She does some damage, she brings some auras, so I think that, you know, these 2 are really going to just give Noel everything that he needs to shine. Summon, so I am going to go ahead and bring Bahamut. So I think I'm going to have plenty of attack here, and it's only a level 120 fight. It's not a full chaos fight, so I should be hitting pretty good. If I'm using my abilities and I'm at not at 9999 on Noel, we know that was maybe a mistake. But the one thing about Noel, and I'm going to bring this back up, is his EX hits 4 times, and it's broken. It's broken into really smaller attacks, right? So it's 40% tax times 3. That happens 4 times. So he's nowhere near hitting 9999 on the extra on those EX hits, which means that Bahamut is going to literally that 1.8 times in the summon is literally going to convert directly to HP damage on his EX. So I'm going to see what kind of numbers we can pull with that. So this is my party. So let's go ahead. Friend unit here. I think I'm going to go ahead and let's see which one of these setsers is better. 3 boards. Alright, they're both good setsers. We'll go with this guy. Alright, so the nice thing is it's pretty much just a 3-way fight. And again, this isn't about this fight. This is about Noel. So I always waste the first Galefangs, right? So it's not a plus, but you do want to, it's what it gets his initial buffs going, and you want to get those up as much as possible. So you can see right there his max brave. buffs up when we use it. He's now got 2 stacks of his last hunter buff. Let's go. She's going to go ahead and wound. And go ahead and get her Winddrake arrow started. Some heals and some almost debuff immunity. We'll finish that off on the next one. Now, Moonlight really gets the buffs going, so now he's got his generic attack and max brave. And for her, I'm just going to go ahead and HP attack for that kill. Now for him, I could just HP attack here, save the skill, but I want to get him to his buffs, so we'll just go ahead and use a Tempe Strike. Alright, so now, what are we going to do? So, we're going to go ahead and get her Winddrake arrow fully going. So now I want to show you this. So, he has the opportunity to break B right here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and Fear Siphon. So he is now broken, and you see this white glow? That means my next ability usage is not going to cost an ability. So we're going to go ahead and wound here and clear both those guys out and get us to the final wave. Alright, so I'm going to try and ignore the middle the two adds as much as I can. I would rather them still be alive when Kefka dies, but he does have a lot of hit points. And we're going to go ahead and get her Rapid Fire Plus or whatever it is unlocked so she can do HP damage. Alright, so free ability usage, right? He's still glowing white. So now, decision making time. We're going to waste the Gale Fang right here, right? He's only down at 7,400 Brave. That's 180% overflow ability. Plus, fortunately, Kefka is also in the back of the order here. So this Tempe Strike will knock him back, and I don't waste the hard-hitting abilities. Alright, got more of them. So we're going to go ahead and get the debuffs up. Alright, so now probably have a chance of breaking those guys while doing some damage to Kefka. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use his Meteor Javelin here, right here. He's not all batteried up, but it also starts his other round of buffs. You can see here, watch his max brave go up after I use it. So it was 32,130, 35,910. He's broken. Look at that. So we got 72 damage with 36k splash on those guys. Really strong. Should be about her EX time here. Alright, so he's batteried up pretty nice at 21. I'm going to go ahead and Gale Fang. And we're at 99, so remember my decision there not to bring the attack summon? Good call. Alright, so this is a good time for his Scourge. So you can see here he's broken. I'm batteried up pretty good. So technically Scourge. Now, that being said, this is not a long fight. If this was a Chaos level battle, I probably would Scourge. That would be the ideal play here. Or I could Fear Siphon and give myself a free ability usage, right? So I could break him to do that. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and knock Kefka back. Alright, so what does she got falling off here? Alright, so I got a Windrakes next on Lena. Go ahead and just green light. Alright, so I think I'm actually going to set up my summon here. So the reason that I moonlighted was to make sure that they have the attack and max brave buffs up. So go ahead and do that to those guys. Let them attack. Now notice I've got Noel's pretty capped out right now with his max brave, right? So this is going to hit hard. I think that Meteor Javelin is up. So right now the nice thing is, since we know Meteor Javelin has a 50% splash, I don't have to like try and add up all the numbers on the screen. I can just look at the damage it does to the adds, and that is times 2 how much damage it did. So that just did 144k damage. Now what do I want to do here? So rapid fire will do more damage, but I want to get Noel batteried up, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that instead. Ooh, Prismatic Flash, really nice battery. Alright, so this is probably gonna cap damage on this Gale Fang. Oh, 95k. Yeah, we'll take it. And knockback here ain't gonna do much, so we'll just go ahead and freeze Joker. Oh, those are new adds. Shit. Too much damage. Killed the last ones. Alright, so he's being targeted by all 3 guys, so we are just gonna brave attack. So now you'll get to watch Noel for a little bit longer. You can see here he's definitely kicking out some damage. The other thing, because for 2 supports, like there are a lot of supports that maybe don't have a lot of brave attacks. Charlotta comes to mind, Lillicet comes to mind. The fact that Lena and Sarah both actually do a lot of brave attacking for supports really meant, like, what, there was maybe, you know, only a couple times where Woody even had to use Fear Siphon. For the most part, I was batteried up and attacking targets that were already broken, which is really what you want. Alright, so Meteor Javelin. Watch the HP melt. So 87 damage, 87k with all the splash. And his last attack, I'm gonna go ahead and just freeze him again. That way it's got the max duration possible. I haven't worried too much about getting broken on this battle. Obviously if it was a bigger threat, you'd play a little more conservative. Alright, so he's broken. He's also at the back. We're going to go ahead and knock him back one. Still get 42k damage. And it should be time for Sarah to return. Go ahead and reapply debuffs. If it's not going to kill him, it'll be pretty darn close. Now, one thing with Noel, and this is probably a good point here. I'm going to go ahead and kill him. So in order to use abilities, you have to have one, right? So you can see right here, I only have one Gale Fang. It'll use it, and then let's say later on in the battle, I Fair Siphoned. I can't use a free Gale Fang, right? It's not return, it's a free one. So instead, I'm actually gonna, right, and so in this case, I'm actually gonna Fair Siphon here. Let's pretend the fight won't be over here in a second. And what I did was, you know, as long as I leave that one, every free one I have, you know, I'll be able to keep using it the rest of the fight. Now, I didn't get to show off his Shaving Slash. I never got to a situation where I had to break an enemy before using the EX, but that tends to be what I use it for. Probably should have used it before the EX. Totally forgot about it. And the other thing, her C65, Sarah's, is overflow limit. So, you know, I had her out for Setzer during the summon, but, you know, if you do have her in, really useful during a summon, that overflow limit. So, you can see here, this Gale Fang is free. Alright, well, I mean, it's a Noel showcase, so we're gonna have him get the kill. Actually, we'll show you his C65. So, alright, I want to kill you with this Meteor Javelin, but you're broken. I want to use my Meteor Javelin plus. Did you get that? He is now broken and flying. And it is still my turn. So now, instead of hitting you with the weak Meteor Javelin with the weak splash, I'm going to hit you with the good one, with the good splash. Alright, everybody. Again, this really wasn't about the fight. This is an easy fight. I just kind of queued it up to kind of give you a little how-to on how to play Noel. I am going to get a couple clears with this guy in Chaos. I've intentionally planned on not pulling for Cloud. So I am committed to being able to do it. And I think he's going to be able to perform really well. That EX also ignores defense. So anytime you talk about ignoring defense, you know, that really lends itself well to more challenging content. So I'll let you know how it goes out after Chaos starts. But, you know, if you were considering pulling on Noel, I would definitely suggest it. The other thing is, right when Noel falls off at the beginning of Chaos, assuming, you know, you're able to use it at the beginning of that, Locke is on that banner. And Locke gets his EX plus, and you get a usable DD pretty much right at the time when Noel falls off. So good luck, everybody. If you're wondering, you know, if you should pull on him, I wouldn't risk Charlotta, and I wouldn't risk Ultimisia. They're pivotal, but if you can get them without sort of risking those two, I highly suggest it. He's really fun to play. He's got a really strong kit.